The Moon is our closest celestial neighbor and the only natural satellite that humans have ever visited. It is also a constant companion that brightens our night sky and influences our tides. But have you ever wondered how different our planet would be without the Moon? How would it affect our climate, our seasons, our sleep, and even our mood? In this episode, we will try to answer these questions based on some recent scientific studies and speculations. Hello and welcome to Curiosity, where we explore fascinating and interesting topics about everything. Today, we are going to talk about a hypothetical scenario that has intrigued many people for a long time. What would happen if there was no moon? Let's start with the most obvious effect, the darkness of the night. Without the moon, there would be no moonlight to illuminate the Earth at night. According to a 2021 study, for much of human history, people were more active at night during the full moon, and might have synchronized their activities and energy levels to the phases of the moon. This could be because more moonlight meant people could continue working or participating in other activities later into the evening. The study also found that people fell asleep later and slept less overall on the nights before the full moon. This phenomenon likely occurs because the full moon is the brightest moon phase, reflecting more light from the sun to Earth. Although this light is weaker than direct sunlight, exposure may still cause people to feel more awake at night. So, without the moon, we might have a longer and deeper sleep at night, which could be beneficial for our health and well-being. However, we would also miss out on the beauty and romance of the moonlit nights, and we would have to rely more on artificial lighting to see in the dark. Moreover, without the moon, we would not be able to witness some spectacular astronomical events, such as lunar eclipses, supermoons, and blood moons. Another major effect of losing the moon would be on the Earth's rotation and tilt. The moon exerts a gravitational pull on the Earth that slows down its rotation and stabilizes its axis. Without the moon, the Earth would spin faster and wobble more. This would have dramatic consequences for our time and seasons. Currently, it takes 24 hours for the Earth to complete one rotation around its axis. This is what determines the length of our day and night. However, if there was no moon, the Earth's rotation would speed up significantly due to less friction from the tides. Some scientists estimate that without the moon, a day on Earth would last only 6 to 12 hours. This means that we would have more days in a year, but each day would be much shorter. The Earth's tilt is also affected by the moon. The tilt is what causes the seasons by changing the amount of sunlight that reaches different parts of the Earth throughout the year. Currently, the Earth's tilt is about 23.5 degrees, which gives us moderate seasons with relatively mild temperature variations. However, without the moon, the Earth's tilt would vary from 0 to 85 degrees over millions of years. This would cause extreme seasons with harsh temperature changes and unpredictable weather patterns. For example, if the Earth had no tilt, there would be no seasons at all. The equator would always be hot and humid, while the poles would always be cold and dry. On the other hand, if the Earth had a high tilt, there would be extreme seasons with long periods of darkness or daylight. The poles would sometimes face directly toward or away from the sun, creating scorching summers and freezing winters. These changes in rotation and tilt would also affect our biological clocks and rhythms. Our bodies are adapted to follow a 24-hour cycle of light and dark that regulates our sleep, hormones, metabolism, mood, and behavior. This cycle is called circadian rhythm, and it is influenced by external cues such as sunlight and temperature. Without the moon, our circadian rhythm would be disrupted by shorter days and longer nights, or vice versa, depending on where we live on Earth. This disruption could lead to various health problems such as insomnia, depression, obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and cancer. It could also affect our cognitive abilities such as memory, attention, learning, and creativity. Another way that losing the moon would affect us is through our tides. The tides are caused by the gravitational attraction between the Earth, the Moon, and the Sun. The Moon has a stronger influence on the tides than the Sun because it is closer to us. The tides rise and fall twice a day as the Earth rotates under the bulges of water created by the Moon's pull. The tides are important for many reasons. They help mix nutrients and oxygen in the oceans, which support marine life and biodiversity. They also shape our coastlines and beaches by eroding or depositing sand and sediment. They influence our climate and weather by transferring heat from the equator to the poles. They provide renewable energy sources such as tidal power and wave power. They also affect human activities such as fishing, surfing, sailing, and navigation. Without the moon, the tides would be much smaller and less frequent. The sun would still cause some tides, but they would be about 1/3 of the size of the current tides. High tides would be much lower and low tides would be much higher. This would reduce the mixing of nutrients and oxygen in the oceans, which could harm marine life and biodiversity. It would also change the shape of our coastlines and beaches by altering the patterns of erosion and deposition. It would affect our climate and weather by reducing the heat transfer from the equator to the poles. It would also limit our renewable energy sources and human activities that depend on the tides. Finally, losing the moon would affect our culture and history. The moon has been a source of inspiration and fascination for humans since ancient times. It has influenced our art, literature, music, religion, mythology, astrology, calendar, festivals, and rituals. It has also motivated our scientific exploration and discovery of space. Without the moon, we would lose a part of our cultural and historical heritage. We would not have the legends and stories of werewolves, vampires, witches, and other creatures that are associated with the moon. We would not have the poems and songs that celebrate the moon's beauty and mystery. We would not have the religions and beliefs that worship the moon as a deity or a symbol. We would not have the calendar and festivals that mark the phases of the moon. We would not have the achievements and challenges of landing on the moon and exploring its surface. The moon is more than just a rock orbiting our planet. It is a vital part of our environment, our biology, our society, and our identity. Without it, we would live in a very different world. That's all for today's episode. Thank you for watching Curiosity. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more content like this. And don't forget to share your thoughts and questions in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious.